Hello, you beautiful souls, and welcome to this video. I'm so happy you tuned in. I'm just sitting in nature, and I have something really magical and special planned. I felt really called to create this video. It's been something that I wanted to create for such a long time now. It's something that I am so passionate about. I keep talking about it with everyone I meet. It's been a huge part of my journey in the past few years, and it has made my life heaven on earth. So, what we're going to be doing today, and you obviously already read the title, is we're going to be actually doing something that's a little bit different to maybe some of the other YouTube videos you've seen in the past. This video is actually going to be quite interactive. So, I really recommend taking your time when watching this video. I really trust that whenever this video finds you, whether it's on your YouTube For You page, whether it's something you've just found by chance. The intention I put into this video is that it finds you at the right time. Whenever you find yourself here with me right now, it has found you for a reason. And I really hope you stick with me, and I really hope you tune into this magical portal that I'm kind of trying to create with this video. It's going to be interactive. So yeah, just be open, and I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight what we're going to be doing. So basically, what we're going to be doing today is reconnecting you to your soul. I always talk about reconnecting to the soul, but sometimes people don't really understand what that even is. But basically, connecting to your soul means connecting to your authentic self. It is what lies behind all of the conditioning, all of the rules we were taught, all of the limiting beliefs, basically everything from the outside. Reconnecting to my authentic self, and I feel like everyone who does this says this, is pretty much the most magical thing you can do. So a lot of people, especially the generation above us, and especially our parents' generation, it took them a long time to reconnect to their authentic selves. It often took them until they were like 40, 50, 60, 70 sometimes, and some of them never actually did because often they didn't have the resources, sometimes wasn't their time to actually connect to their authentic self in this lifetime. But reconnecting to your authentic self, at least that was the case for me, pretty much solved almost every single problem that I had. It has brought so much magic, so much joy, so much purpose into my life, and everything, especially when it comes to manifestation, everything that I had kind of struggled with, or anything that I wanted to call into my life, happened so effortlessly because the highest vibration, the highest frequency you can be on is authenticity. Everyone says love is the highest frequency, and love is one of the highest frequencies, without a doubt. But we now know that authenticity is the highest frequency. When you are being authentic, everything that is meant for you, literally magic that you cannot even comprehend in your mind right now, will find its way to you without you even having to do something. Because being authentic and being yourself is literally the easiest thing in the world. Yes, getting there can sometimes be a little bit more difficult because there's so much conditioning, there's so many limiting beliefs, and so much shame that we have often learned. But being authentic and being yourself is, and I always say this, the way I can describe it, imagine clenching your entire body, being extremely tense. Hold your breath for a second, and then let it all go. That's what being authentic feels like. That is literally the physical, spiritual, and emotional feeling that you create when you are being authentic. That feeling of releasing all that tension that you just held and that we still hold in our body by not being authentic, releasing that feeling is what being authentic feels like. It is literally the best feeling in the world. I cannot describe it in any other way. And that's what we're going to be connecting today. Like I said, this video is going to be interactive. We're going to be starting with a very short mindfulness exercise, which is basically just to calm your nervous system so that your nervous system knows that it's safe for you to be authentic. The next thing we're going to be doing is a little visualization, which is really powerful and really magical. And then I'm going to be adding journal prompts, and I'm going to be talking about them for a little bit and going to give you a bit of time. Feel free to grab a notebook, feel free to journal, feel free to create a Notion board, do it on your notes app, or do an audio where you basically answer the journal prompts, but write it down somewhere or keep it somewhere. And don't think about the questions too much. As soon as you hear the journal prompt or read the journal prompt, I really want you to just start writing. As soon as you've finished reading, take your pen, grab your thumbs, and just write. I don't want you to think about it too much. Even if it feels silly, even if it feels embarrassing, even if there's like a second thought, if it's something that came into your mind while reading journal prompt, write it down because there is something there. Even if it doesn't make sense, nobody will read these notes ever. besides you. Just write it down. Okay, so that was enough talking. We're actually going to start with just connecting you to your body and creating some peace and calm in your body. I just want us to take a second. You can close your eyes if you want to, and just stay with me. And just for a moment, enjoy the silence. Enjoy the sounds you hear. And be really, really proud of yourself that you're giving yourself a little break. You're tuning into yourself and you're creating some peace, calm, and quiet in this moment right now. Make sure to release any tension in your body so you can tell your body that it is now safe for you to relax. There's nowhere you need to be. You're exactly where you're meant to be. You can just be for now. Release any tension that you hold in your shoulders, in your face, in your jaw, in your tongue, in your stomach, in your legs, in your fingers, your arms, and your toes. Allow yourself to take up space. Here right now is not the time to make yourself smaller, to restrict yourself, to feel tension in any part of your body. Really let it all go. Let go of all the tension. Let your stomach, your body take up space. It is safe for you to take up space here. Breathe in a pace that feels good to you. If you can, breathe into your stomach and exhale with a sigh. If you feel safe, you can also make a noise when you exhale, and make sure that your shoulders don't hold any tension. Make sure that your face feels free and open. Tune into what it feels like to take up space, to not play small. There's no part of you that you have to hide. Every part of you is welcome here. You are completely and entirely safe, calm, and peaceful in this moment. And let's take 2 more intentional calming breaths together. Notice the air giving you life. Notice how the air is bringing life force energy into your body. And exhale in a pace that feels good to you. Let go of any tension. We're going to be heading into the visualization, and I want you to keep your eyes closed. And what I want you to do now in this peaceful and calm state is to tune into your heart for a second. Tune into the center of your chest, where your heart lies, where your heart is keeping you alive. Feel your body. If you wish, you can place a hand on your heart. And when you breathe in calmly, I want you to imagine a light emerging from your heart. It starts very slowly, and it's very subtle, but the light grows stronger and stronger. It shines from the middle of your heart. It fills your entire body. It shines so brightly. While keeping your eyes closed and focusing on that light that continues to get bigger and bigger, I want you to answer one question for yourself. And I want you to do this without thinking too much. Trust what comes to you first. So I want you to ask yourself and see for yourself, what are the colors of this light that is currently growing and growing from your heart, from your soul? And don't think about it too much. What does that light that is currently glowing from your heart, from your soul, and filling your entire body, what does that look like? Is it one color? Is it multiple colors? What textures? Does it sparkle? Does it glitter? It can look like anything. And only you right now see what it looks like. You see the different colors. You see if it's just one color. You right now notice what that light looks like. And while you keep noticing, that light just grows stronger and stronger. It literally fills every cell of your body. Your entire body is glowing. It is full of light. It is full of color, a very unique color or colors, texture, and energy that is completely unique and authentic to you. Your heart is expanding. It goes beyond your physical body and it forms a big, expansive bubble around you. And you are fully immersed in your own authentic energy, in your own light. Really visualize that bubble all around you. It feels expansive. It is not restricting. It feels like you are being hugged and held by love, by warmth, by peace, but also by joy and excitement. And now for the rest of this video, I want you to keep visualizing and seeing this bubble, this aura, this light force energy within you and around you. And it will continue to be here for the rest of this video and beyond that. It is literally here every single moment when you choose to tune into it. And even when you don't actively tune into it, it is always within you. So let's actually get to know that light even more. Okay, welcome back from your little guided meditation / visualization. First of all, I'm so proud of you for taking the time and doing this. We actually need to notice how incredibly powerful it is and how magical it is that you've actually taken the time to get to know your soul and to connect to your soul, and that you're here doing this instead of just scrolling from reel to reel or watching a different YouTube video. So I just wanted to say that you can be really proud of yourself. And what we're going to be doing now, while still being in that really unique, authentic energy that you are in currently, is you just took the time and your soul is so happy to connect to your authentic self. Maybe this was the first time you've ever intentionally done this. So this is huge. This is huge. But what we're going to do while still being in that energy, and you are still in that energy, believe me, what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to explore a little bit. Because what we've done now is actually we brought forth that energy. Not only does it feel safe enough to come forward because you were in a calm and peaceful state for it to feel safe enough to come out, but also because you've actively wanted to connect to your soul and your authentic energy. So now it's time to explore a little bit, and we're going to be doing that through journal prompts. So if you can, take a notebook or just open up a note on your laptop, on your iPhone, wherever that is, but somewhere sacred and somewhere where you can just write. Nobody will see it. It is just for you. There's nothing to be embarrassed about, nothing to be ashamed about. You can just write your heart out. And like I said, I don't want you to think about these answers too much. So actually the first thing that I do recommend is actually writing down the colors, the textures, the energy that you saw. If you can describe it in words, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to describe it. What I actually really recommend you to do after the video is actually create a little vision board. So you can even pause this video and come back here. Create a vision board on Pinterest, wherever, and really try to find those colors, those textures, and make a color collage out of it. Create a Pinterest board. I have that. That is just titled My Soul, and it can just consist of all the colors, all the textures, all that energy that you just tuned into. And you can add all the things you loved from your childhood, everything in it. So I really recommend doing that. As soon as you've done that, we're going to be doing a total of 4 journal prompts. I do really recommend pausing this YouTube video because I can't really put in like a 10-minute timer. Some people might just take a minute to answer that prompt. Some people might take like 15 to 20 minutes. It is completely up to you. Really just let your soul speak. So the first question is going to be, I want you to write down everything that you loved to do as a child. Don't think about the question too much. Write down everything that you love to do. Everything that has brought you joy in the first, let's say, 7 10, 12 years of your life. The things you felt intuitively drawn to, the things you truly, truly loved to do that brought you so much joy. I don't care if it's a TV show as well. I don't care if it's a movie. I don't care if it's specific toys. I just want you to jot it all down. Do a mind dump. I'll be here when you're finished. Okay, you're back. So the second thing we're going to be looking at, and this can include things from your child self, from your childhood, but also things in the now. I want you to ask yourself, what does joy feel like in your body? How do you experience joy? How does it feel in your physical body and in your emotions? How does it feel to experience joy? And when you tune into that feeling, when do you experience that joy? And just start writing. Don't think about it too much. You know what joy feels like. You know what deep, deep joy, excitement, and just happiness for life feels like. When you just feel so full of life and energy and excitement, what are those things that evoke this passion and this energy and this joy in your body? You can write down things from your childhood that you still love to do, but maybe don't even allow yourself to do anymore. And of course, add things that you do currently, even if you don't feel that joy too often, or if you feel that joy all the time. Just write down the specific things that you do when that joy comes through. I'll be here. Okay, so the next question will probably need a little bit more thinking, but it's one of the most powerful questions. And I'm going to give you some examples. So, if you knew that whatever you look like, whatever you did in life, whatever you pursued, that was the norm, and that was actually what was trendy, or that was actually what was considered beautiful, what would you look like? And this is a bit of a tricky one, so I'm going to give you some examples. So, for example, let's say you put on makeup every day for an hour. And you knew from now on, I snap my fingers and the whole entire world outside of you has changed, and your normal face without makeup is suddenly the beauty standard. It is suddenly what everyone finds so incredibly beautiful. Would you still wear makeup? Or, for example, if you knew that your nose, that you might be a little bit insecure about, was suddenly, like your natural nose, was suddenly the beauty standard, would you still want a nose job? And I want you to ask yourself this question with your insecurities or the areas in your life, for example, job, the things that you want to pursue in general. What would it look like if you were not performing for anything outside of you, for anything external? What would it look like if you did not care, if no one else cared? What would your life look like? What would your appearance look like? And how would your day look like? Okay, so the last question, which is a little bit similar to the previous one. If someone would hand you a piece of paper, or let's say like a mind map or whatever, and you were just able to draw your heaven on earth, your perfect life, and you knew you were financially set for life, you knew that no one judged you, you knew that you would absolutely not care about what people thought about you, if you knew you wouldn't care about trends or adjusting to a beauty standard or whatever, you just didn't care, you just completely lived in your authenticity and what truly, going back to the joy, brings you the most joy, what would your life look like? What would your future look like? How would you spend your days? What would be your job? And for a moment here, I don't want you to be super realistic. Of course, let's not get into like, oh, I want to grow wings and fly away, or I want to live in a castle in the clouds. We want to keep it a little bit realistic. But again, I want you to know that most of the things are far more realistic than we actually think they are. So, like I said, you being financially set, let's just say, just your biggest dreams, if it's having a family, if it's having a thriving business, whatever. And nobody would ever judge you. Nobody would ever judge you for it, and you would literally spend your days having the most joy ever. Just jot it all down. Just do a brain dump. What would your life look like? How would you dress? Where would you live? How would you feel? Get into that for a bit. All right, you have made it to the end of the journal prompts. Again, I am so incredibly proud of you. You are still here. You are still connecting to your soul. This is so powerful. This is big. This is huge. Be proud of yourself because I assume a lot of people have probably clicked off of this video in the first minute. So be proud of yourself that you're still here. So what I actually want to do at the end of this video is give you free action steps, which are going to be incredibly powerful. This video is probably already a bit longer, so I don't want to yap too much. So I actually just want to give you free little action steps that are going to be life-changing. And after following this video and getting to know your authentic energy and your soul, these action steps are going to be what you want to do next. So the first step, and I don't have to talk about this a lot because I already talked about this a few minutes ago, is to create a vision board. Create one on Pinterest or print it out, do a collage, whatever you need to do, just whatever suits you, with all the colors and the energy that represents your authentic self. And with time, you can add more and more into this board. So I personally have multiple Pinterest boards with things that just make my inner child really happy. And whenever I look at them, and I also have colors and collages in there, I just feel so connected to my authentic self. It immediately pulls me into my own energy. Something that I actually did, and I have this on my bedside table, is that I printed the colors of my soul and I mixed it with some like things I loved as a child. And I printed those out and put a picture of my child self in the middle. And it's just this beautiful collage of the most vibrant, beautiful colors that are so unique to me. And this is going to look different for everyone. Everyone intuitively feels drawn to different colors, different textures, and different things as a child especially. So I really want you to tune within and not just do what looks aesthetic or what is trendy. Truly tune into your colors that you saw in the visualization. So the second thing I want you to do is to tune into your authentic self and your authentic energy every single day. And you can find practices that you feel intuitively drawn to and really do these every day. But I want you to literally start today or tomorrow, whatever time it is. I want you to, in situations with your family, your friends, when you post something online, am I being authentic or am I performing? This is one of the most powerful questions you can ask yourself. And I really want you to train yourself to ask yourself this all the time. And this is going to be life-changing because you've actually expanded your mind. This is something that you have probably not asked yourself this much in most situations, and let alone the knowledge that something is not really authentic to you, that you are not acting in an authentic way, is incredibly powerful. And when you find yourself not acting authentic in a way, which you're probably going to find yourself doing because at the beginning your body will resist change because it's going to be so much safer to not be authentic for your nervous system, because your nervous system will choose a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. You need to know that your nervous system will try to keep you performing because it just wants to protect you from any kind of pain or hurt that could potentially come when you are being authentic. And what I can tell you from experience is that yes, there's often a fear of like, if I'm being authentic, then I'm more vulnerable, then I can get more hurt. But to be alive is to be vulnerable. It is your duty to live this life being yourself. Yes, it can be difficult at first, but it's literally the number one regret that most old people have when they die. They regret not being themselves. They regret taking a path that someone else predetermined for them. They regret not being authentic. You are literally here sitting with me and you are actively taking steps to connect to your authentic self. So yes, notice that it's gonna be a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit vulnerable to be authentic and to not stay in what is familiar to you, but change and doing what often makes you a little bit afraid is what leads to magic. This will be the most magical, most important, most powerful journey that you will ever embark on. And you have already embarked on this by watching this video. So just ask yourself this question with everything that you do and keep training your mind to ask this question. And when you find yourself in a situation where you're not acting authentic, or you're about to do something or say something or agree to something that is actually not aligned with you at all, and you know this, really try to go the different way. Change can often make the nervous system, like I said, freak out, but it's not going to kill you. It's going to lead you to so much magic. And then the last thing I want you to do, and this is something that can wait a little bit, it doesn't have to if you feel ready, but it's not something you have to immediately do as soon as you just started getting to know your authentic self, and this is going to lead to so much magic, is to share your authentic self with the world. So don't just be authentic in your everyday life when you choose your own music, when you choose how to dress, what colors to wear, what content to consume, what movies to watch, or how to spend your free time. I want you to share your authenticity with the world. And this is going to be different for everyone. Some people have the dream of becoming a YouTuber or writing or do public speaking, whatever it is, especially, and this is just for some, this might apply to you. If you dream of posting stuff online, doesn't matter what platform, maybe it's even YouTube, or if you are someone who has an Instagram, I assume you have an Instagram, and I've seen this with so many of my friends and me in the past, is we feel afraid to share certain things with our followers or post certain things in our story, and we really curate our stories, especially it's often even the ones who have only friends as their followers, because they are so afraid of them judging you or people judging you that they are not authentically just posting what they actually want to post. This is actually a number one fear that so many people have. But what I want you to do is to fearlessly shout your message, your authenticity out into the world, because that is how you find your people. That is how the most magical opportunities come into your life, if you are being authentic and showing the world your authenticity. This is literally what confidence is. And this is something that I've done in the past 2 years. And I cannot tell you, I always thought I was so alone in this world that nobody could understand me. I always felt very misunderstood, and I felt like this world just wasn't made for me. Being authentic and sharing my message with the world, like actually my authentic soul and myself online and in person, I don't have the words to explain how beautiful my life feels like, how magical my life is, how much magic has occurred. That's all I can say. So really do those free action steps. They're going to be life changing. This exact formula is exactly what I did when I first reconnected to my soul a few years ago, intentionally reconnected to my soul. And there's so much more that I could talk about. And as you can see, I'm getting really passionate talking about this. But this is pretty much the exact formula that I used. And just know that if you follow through and you actually allow your authentic self to come through, then your life shifts in ways that I cannot even explain. Job opportunities, friendships, community, connection, purpose, soul aligned success, magical occurrences. There's so much that happens when you are in the highest frequency of authenticity. And the last thing that I do want to say is that it is a journey. You will still find out things about your authentic self when you are like 89 years old. And that is what's so beautiful about life, is that you will be in different situations in your life and you will continue to find out more about what you like and what you don't like and what your soul is here to do, what brings your soul joy. You don't ever want to stop learning, and you don't ever want to stop being curious, and you don't ever want to stop expanding. You don't ever want to limit yourself, because you came here to be limitless. And yes, there might be some things that bring you joy now or that you are so excited about now, and those things might change in 5 years. Stepping into your authentic self also means noticing and really coming to terms with the fact that you are limitless and that things are ever changing, and that is beautiful as well. So yes, you now just connected to your core, your soul, your spirit, your energy. But yes, things might change, because just as the weather does, just as nature does, you are not just one thing. The authenticity that you have now might look a little bit different in a year, in 2 years, maybe even in 6 months. Who knows? Some people change really quickly, which is a beautiful thing. I was always a person that grew very quickly, and you should never hold yourself back from growing and expanding. I love the word expanding. But yeah, my loves, this was pretty much all I wanted to say. This video probably turned out to be a little bit longer than I expected it to be, but please tell me in the comments down below what your experience was like. I'm so curious to see the colors that you saw, the visions that you had, what your answers to journal prompts were. I'm just so curious. Anything that you want to share it in the comments down below. Other people will read it and feel really inspired. And as always, you can find any information you need in the show notes or in the description down below. How to work with me, my website, my work, my Instagram, my art, anything you can find there. If you're here on YouTube, please subscribe and like this video. If you're here on podcast, then please rate this podcast. This helps me immensely, and you can also comment. And I always love reading your guys' comments, so feel free to share them down below, and I'll hopefully see you guys again soon. Stay authentic.